Ministry is not church. Ministry is not building. Ministry is not preaching. Ministry is not nice suit and shirt and tie. Ministry is not miracles. Ministry is not preaching. So I was dumbasted. They say, if all this is not ministry, what is ministry? I'm done. It was like I was naked. You stripped me of everything I know to do. I've been stripped of them. If this is not ministry, so what then is ministry? So ministry is your ability to touch people with God's love. If you need something to, if you need to preach, to touch people with God's love, use preaching. If you need to embrace, to touch people with God's love, embrace. If you need to teach, to communicate God's love to them, to touch them, just make sure they are touched with God's love. If you need to do miracles to touch them with God's love, yes, those are all means. But ministry is about you laying down yourself and finding means and ways to make sure that people feel the touch of God's love. From that day, I went to look for that woman. I removed my suit and my tie and my clean shirt. People will not come to the church, so I decided I knew I have to go to them. I said, take me to where people like you are. Where are drug addicts? Where are homeless people? Where are alcoholics? From that day, I and her, two of us, we began to look for where we could get on these people. She will come with a story. She will testify that God delivered her from drug addiction, from alcoholism after she met me. And I would just do my best. I would hug people, clean them up, cut their hair, wash them, put clothes on them, embrace them, weep with them. Anything I could do to make them feel that touch of God's love, I would talk to them, minister to them, preach to them, pray for them, just to make them feel that feeling of God's touch of love. You know, that is when people began to get deliverance. You see, in Africa especially, and some churches in the West, people believe in deliverance. For deliverance, you need to cast out demons. When we began to just go pray for people, make people feel the touch of God's love, let me tell you, in 1 year, from having nobody, these people, once I know when the transfer happens, I feel it when the virtue leaves me. When I begin to minister to people, either on the stage or in person or from the television, when I mean, just like one pastor said that he had watched me many years back, and on TBN. That's what I try to do. I preach my message in a way that it will make whoever is there to feel the touch of God's love. That's ministry. So once we do that to these people, you know what I began to experience? People began to wake up and say, oh, what did you do to me? Drug addiction goes. Alcoholism goes. In 1 year, from 4 years of not having one conversion, we had 1,000 born again white people. And the reason is because I was waiting for regular white people to come. My expectations were wrong. But God told me, go look for the white people that are so desperate, that are so dead, that are so lost, that are so much in need, that they don't see color anymore. They don't see color anymore. So instead of waiting in my church for normal, regular white people to come, they don't care for me. I began to just go and share God's love, the touch of God's love with the white people that people don't even know are alive. In 1 year, we had 1,000 of them join our church. First time born again believers. And the deliverance was just coming just by making them to feel the touch of God's love, caring for them. And then God showed me, you see, the problem is not with their prejudice. The problem is your focus, your expectation. You are expecting the regular ones to come, but they don't see. They have been blinded by their pursuits, by their focus, by their aspirations, by their desires, by their greed. You know, but there are some other white people in this same city, in any city, that are begging to God, that are crying to me, like the Israelites cried in Egypt and said, send somebody. But I was in that same city and I was not even hearing their cry. I was not looking for them. I was not a searching pastor. I was a pastor waiting for regular people to come. I was not the one going to search for the people that really are waiting and crying to God every day. People are committing suicide in this city and I didn't even know about it. I was living my life. So that's how God changed my ministry. From not being able to have one white person, by focusing on the people who are really in need and making them to feel the touch of God's love, my ministry changed. In 1 year, we were 1,000 people. In 2 years, we were 2,000 people. In 5 years, we were 7,000 people. 10 years, we kept on growing until we became the largest church in the country and in the continent. And that's it. The rest is story.